and mainstream society. Therefore, these incidents are not as widespread in Indiana as in other places, thanks God. However, we must all face the fact that it has increased dramatically across the country. Those victims may be our relatives and friends. We must work together to stop racist hate now. Otherwise, maybe one day it will spread to here. The victims will be ourselves. Our Indianapolis Chinese Community Center, ICCCI, in association with other AAPI organizations, have organized today's event. This rally does not distinguish between parties, political views, or ethnicities. It is not aimed at a specific incident either. We must give out the voice of our community and raise attention to this issue on a societal level. We call for all Hoosiers who love peace and justice to take actions. We urge all levels of administration to implement legislative power to stop trivialization of such crimes, conduct thorough investigations, bring the perpetrators to justice, and install preventive measures. We must strengthen our position and leave all forms of racial hatred no place in this nation. We are all immigrants. Whether your ancestors came from Europe as a Mayflower to escape religious persecutions, or from Africa only to be enslaved for those many years, or from Asia to build railways for a modern living. The place now under our feet is our hometown, the America. We all are Americans. Thank you very much.
Indianapolis, Ms. Judith Thomas, to come to say a few words. So let's just introduce Ms. Thomas a little bit. So before coming to work for the city, Thomas ran Judith and Corporation, a consulting firm focused on celebrating the rich diversity of arts, culture, and tourism. She is a community scholar of Africana Studies at IUQI and previously served as president of the Migrant Worker Legacy Center. Welcome, Deputy Mayor. We are so honored to have you.
Thank you so much, everyone. It's a beautiful day, wonderful day, an incredible message that everyone in our city and our country needs to hear. So good afternoon. As mentioned, I'm Deputy Mayor of Neighborhood Engagement for the City of Indianapolis, and Mayor Hogsett. He is disappointed that he wasn't able to attend today, but of course, he sends his regards. And he wanted me to let you know the city is behind you. In Indianapolis, we know diversity is one of the greatest assets. Right here, this is such a diverse audience within the Asian community, and we need to celebrate that and educate our citizens on the importance of the impact that we've all made in our city and state. And so this also means listening to those who are suffering. As Deputy Mayor, I lead outreach to our neighborhoods and to our diverse cultural representatives. I can't wait to sit down with your community and get together and say, what can we do next? This right here is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. But we also realize this conversation didn't start today and it won't end today. Too often, minority groups have been ignored and underserved. As a city, we must continue to find ways to lift up our Asian American residents, as well as other immigrants that have been here in the past, so that every one of us feels at home here in Indianapolis. Please continue to use the City of Indianapolis as a resource. Call the Mayor's Action Center when you have questions or needs in your neighborhoods or areas or communities. Get to know your Mayor's Neighborhood Advocates, which a few are here today. Want to raise your hands, Mayor's Neighborhood Advocates? They're here to be a resource for you all when you need to have answers or just need support and to talk about your desires and needs in your communities. And I'm always happy to listen, and that's what I'm going to do next. To learn and find new ways to support the diverse community. Thank you for your invitation to speak today. I am so proud to join so many community people about the passion for justice and to end hate and ignorance and violence. I mean, your signs are beautiful. End racism, end racist violence. We are Americans, we belong. We all do. And we all need to come together to make a difference. So I look forward to working with everyone. And stay strong, and let's keep talking. Thank you.
I want to start my speech with just a 1 minute moment of silence for those who have lost their lives. And as a Hindu, I would just say, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Thank you. Shanti means peace. We want to very first recognize those who have lost their lives, and we want to pray for peace for them. However, this is a moment for the moment. We want to also not just pray, but take action so that all of us, 170,000 Hoosiers who call Indiana their home, they are Americans who can live in their very home with peace. They can let their children go out and play in their backyard. We want all of the Asian Americans to be able to do the businesses where they are serving our community without any fear of any violence, any racism, any discrimination, any microaggressions. We know that just in last 1 year since the outbreak of COVID-19 virus, we have seen 150% increase in such incidents in few major cities. Well, those are the only cases they have been registered. But I know so many people who are probably standing here around me have been told names, been treated with not respect. They have been even given different treatment than anyone standing next to them. I think that all goes all unregistered. People don't talk about it. People don't go to the police for that. So I want to make sure that this is a moment for us to really make a movement for just stop racist violence. We are here to support everyone who is not being treated with respect. Asians, as registered, is not a virus. Every black person is not a threat. Every Latino is not illegal immigrant. And every woman is not a sex object. We have seen in just last 2 weeks the incident that happened. Yes, it was an act of racism, whether we accept it or not. It was a real example of sexism, and it was also a bias. There was one individual who was kept for 4 hours by police thinking that he was one of the suspects because he was a Mexican or someone from Latino origin. So this is really our wake-up call. We have seen enough violence last year against our brothers and sisters from black community. As we say we are all Americans, we are all here standing for each and every one. I want to remind those who are listening here, we are your teachers, your policemen, your servicemen, your doctors, your neighbors. We serve this country, we call this place our home. we want to make sure that we are all here united together for any age of racism, violence, and we are not going to tolerate anymore. I urge anyone who is from corporations or community organizations, this is a time for call for action. Number one, speak internally with your members, your colleagues, your employees. They are not okay. Speak externally. Post your views on what do you believe and what are your views, what are your company policies and procedures for diversity and inclusion. If you don't have one, this is your time to develop one. Number two, be an ally. This is not just for people who are Asians, Latinos, women, African Americans, or any diverse individual. This is for everyone. So be an ally. If you have a question, reach out to us, we can answer. We can really explain you what is a cultural competency. We love if you want to learn about our culture. We are there to explain you. But don't put us in a box. Don't stereotype. That's not acceptable. We are not going to tolerate that anymore. And third, and the most important thing, accept us as Americans. We are Asian Americans who are very proud of our heritage. We want to cherish our culture, but we are Americans. And with that, I just want to say that please keep up the momentum, please keep up the spirit, because this is not just a one-day event. This has to keep going on. And thank you very much for ICCCI to collaborate with Asian American Alliance. I am giving us an opportunity to speak on such an important message that we all share. Thank you very much.
My name is HongYin, and I stand in solidarity with our friends in the Asian and Chinese American communities. For the past 8+ years, I've been honored to serve as Executive Director of the American Chinese Society of Indiana. In that time, I've had the pleasure of working with many Chinese and Chinese Americans who represent some of the nicest, honest, warm, and friendly people I've ever met. I am a white man. I will never truly know the bias and discrimination felt by my friends. I will never know what it's like to be black, Latino, Asian, Muslim, gay, or female in America. But what I can do is empathize and stand with them against all forms of hate and discrimination. The less we talk at one another, and the more we listen to one another, the more common ground we can find. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Yahoo. I am the president of Korean American Association of Indiana. I wish we could meet for the better circumstances. Since the break of the COVID-19 pandemic, we have seen the numbers rise and attack from Asians in America. It has become challenging for us to go outside, knowing that many of us have been victims of violence. The tension is thickening and the anxiety is rising. If anything, there is nothing new about xenophobia in America. However, it should not be tolerated. It should not be tolerated. I urge you to stand up for one another. We can only end racism by uniting as one. We are all equal, no matter what the color of our skin or how we look. We all breathe the same air and work on the same earth. So I strongly encourage you, keep your eyes and ears open if you see your fellow brothers and sisters being faced with racism or hate. Help them out. Help each other out. So let's spread love, not hate. God bless you all and stay safe. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Today, first of all, I would like to thank city leadership, mayor, Uncle President your cousin, now local elected members for creating a policy environment where everyone is treated, everyone is welcome, and diversity is celebrated. More importantly, I would like to offer my gratitude and thanks to Hoosiers, all Hoosiers. Hoosiers really reflects a welcoming community. And I'm very humble and I'm thankful that we are part of this Hoosier community so that thousands of Burmese Americans and Asian Americans can start their new life and be successful and live together under Hoosier in peace, dignity, and respect. But, however, we are seeing hate in the United States of America. This is unacceptable. And this must be rejected. This must be against. And this must be warned against. Martin Luther King said that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So today we have come together to stand in solidarity with our Asian Americans across the United States, minorities across the United States, Black Americans across the United States, to reject hate that targets minority groups. But let me also take this opportunity to thank every one of you today, Asian Americans, Japanese, Korean, Indian, Southeast Asian, for standing with the people of Myanmar. You all know the military coup, the power on February 1st. And as we speak, they continue to crack down peaceful protesters and kill more than 400 already. But this is unacceptable. Thank you for standing with us, with the Burmese American community here in Indiana, and with the people of Myanmar. I also like to thank Chinese as well. I know that you stand with the people of Myanmar. And Myanmar with democracy is better for our neighbors in Asia and for the world. So thank you very much all, and we hope that we will continue to stand together and fight against injustice from targeting Asian minorities and minorities, like Americans and all minorities. And we must continue to stand and we must continue to uphold the principles of equality, diversity, and appreciation. Thank you very much.
I'm board member of the Indiana Association for the Chinese Americans. Welcome.
Hello. First, let me take my hat off to all of you. I am Benny Cole. I don't have any particular credentials other than being an older man who has lived most of my life in Indiana. And you can tell by the way I fumble my speech note that I'm not a pro at this, so bear with me. Today is Passover, and Easter is just around the corner. So the message I'd like to share with you today is one of faith and hope. The nation has just witnessed a week of horrific carnage, with 8 killed in Atlanta and 10 in Boulder. So what is there to give us faith and hope? Let us begin by first look around us. When was the last time we saw the local Asian American communities turn up together, let alone rallying for a cause of justice? Even more heartening is look at the non-Asian Americans who are staying among us. They are pledging their solidarity and support for us.
Yeah, so we cannot do that.
And let me add, by judging by the support across the country and voiced by so many Americans with a sense of justice and righteousness, as well as those who have similarly suffered from systemic discrimination and oppression. So we know we're not here alone, and we're speaking from a new and unified voice. Stop the hatred. And in believing that we shall overcome, as Dr. Martin Luther King once urged us, even in the darkest of moments. That is faith. We have come a long way, even though we still have a way to go before the peoples of this great nation is to find the perfect union. However, what we have accomplished so far gives us the hope that is awaiting us at the end of our struggle. And for this hope to become reality, perhaps we should also ask ourselves, are we doing our part? As Asian Americans, we're equally motivated to support the struggle of our Black compatriots, the Native Americans, the Hispanics, the LGBT community, and women's equality. So let me ask you, did you vote? And if you did you vote for the right politician that support better gun control measures and anti-hate crime legislation? So personally, I hope there shall come that day when we look at each other with a smile, not as strangers, but only as Americans and fellow human beings. I thank you.
A couple days ago.
Everyone got it? Okay. What are we here for? What are we here for? What are we here for? Louder? Thank you very much. So my heart is so warm to see all these people who have shown up today to express their solidarity. Thank you for being here. A lot of us have realized and thought over the past few weeks about the intersections of race and gender. And we know that women in this society move differently than men, but especially for Asian American women. We all deserve to feel safe in our communities. I also see a lot of young people out here. Give yourself a round of applause for showing up. So in having conversations with a lot of young people, I realized, we talk about why these situations, trauma, the violence in Atlanta has really hit home. And it's because for a lot of us, with immigrant parents or Asian American Pacific Islander parents, we know that nothing that our parents do is for themselves. Nothing that we do as a community is for ourselves alone. Everything is collaborative. All of it is for the community. And so in our fight for peace and justice, it's important for us to stand for other communities as well. For the Black, Brown, and Indigenous communities, the LGBTQ+ communities, because we are not in this fight alone. And in advocating for Asian American justice and Pacific Islander justice, we have to recognize it's not just an East Asian issue, it is also a South Asian issue, Southeast Asian issue. We must stand for all of our communities that make up this umbrella. I also see a lot of families and parents out here. Thank you for being here. I'm so proud to see you all here. And as a young person, all I ask for those parents and families out there to continue having conversations about anti-racism with your kids. Include us in your activism. Talk about mental health. Talk about Asian American history, because Asian American history is American history. And for all of us who are wondering, what can we do? You all showed up today, that's the first step. But you can also call your representatives. Tell them that you want to stop Asian hate and make them listen, because they are here to support you. Donate, petition, have those tough conversations with people at work, people you know, in your community, with each other. Check in on one another. And most importantly, vote. And for the people in office who don't believe in stopping Asian hate, vote them out. Okay, we're going to stop and this with one more chant. And I'm going to say we, and you guys say belong. Okay? So we. Thank you very much. We are exactly where we belong. Thank you. Hi, I'm Mary Khan. I'm a part of Asian Pacific Islander Alliance at Howard University, and I am a proud Asian American. These past few weeks and past year has been extra hard for a lot of you, and really, I'm tired. I'm tired of people asking me, no, but where are you really from, even though I was born in Indianapolis? I'm tired of being made ashamed of the food I eat and the language we speak at home. Tired of the school photographers telling me to open your eyes as wide as you can, as if there's something wrong with my Asian smile. Tired of my classmates telling me that if we enslaved anyone, it would be me and the two other Chinese girls in our class. I'm tired of ex-boyfriends making me love you long time jokes and white boys asking me to mimic Japanese hentai porn like I'm a one-dimensional sex object to them. And I'm tired of comments about how Asians are so barbaric and dirty and created this pandemic, and it's somehow our fault for this pandemic. And I'm tired of my mom needing to tell my sister to cover her head in public so that no one can tell that she's Asian. And I'm tired of her being so afraid to even walk around in the neighborhood that I grew up in, because I'm tired of every single day seeing yet another Asian kid, another grandparent, another Asian parent, another Asian American who was brutalized or killed by a stranger because they were just having a bad day. And I'm community speaking up for ourselves just like we are today. I'm hopeful to see solidarity between Asian Americans and other communities of color. I'm hopeful to see allies finally show support for our struggles that I never saw even a drop of last year, even when we were experiencing the same exact violence. I'm hopeful to finally see anti-Asian racism start to be acknowledged. I'm Amy Han, and I'm a proud Asian American, and you should be too, because this is the dawn of a new Asian America. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ethan, and we are all here to help stop anti-Asian hate. Now, there is conflict with racism because it's shown that it's shown that the patriotism is often destroyed for the use of what the founding fathers started. We are here to alert society of this hate trend and show that we have contributed to this country as much as the other races that live in this country. This shows that we deserve to be treated equally with any other race in this country, no matter the color of the skin. The time in Georgia is a sign that these points have been started on us. We should rise to stop this hate because it's falling on us. We should not be blamed for anyone's own problems, but we are united for a purpose of telling the people who are doing the hate crime to stop. That hate is directed to the people of many races, but seeing that we cannot wait for change to happen, so then we will have to make change come by protesting across America to show that Asian Americans are not to be hated. We are love this country and people that we deserve to be loved back. We are all Americans. We should respect each other. We have come here to promote dignity and freedom, and that we should stand for a world that Asian people are treated the same way as any other people. We should say that we are here and we belong in this country as our founding fathers have proclaimed. That the Americans are entitled to the freedom either to black, white, black, or Asian. We should respect each other as we are all Americans at heart, even if we are of different colors on the surface. These should be cherished as we have the freedom to tell people that to hate is to drive us apart. And we should unify Christ and place this world. We should not hate each other as we are stronger together. We should help each other as we need everyone to stop the hate. We are all affected by the virus of any other people that are here to protest the things that have done to us. That hate crime will only continue to happen to us if we let it happen. By being here, we can stop hate crime from spreading in the country. We should tell people that we are not the ones who started spread this message to the other people who started hate crime just because they didn't know better. Let's be united and work to stop discrimination of any kind.
Thank you. Let me start by thanking our former intern, but a phenomenal leader, Melody Gao, the president of the Asian American Association of Indiana. Give it up for Melody. We have Yukon Ma, Dr. Benny Cullis here. We have Colin Rink. We have Brother Bupal. We have Julian Thomas. We have so many people here. We have the Chin community is here. All of Indianapolis is here. Different races, different races. But you know, these kinds of attacks aren't unique to American history. In fact, many of you can recall years ago, decades ago, in 1871, the Chinese massacre in Los Angeles. You may recall in 1875, the Legislative Aid Act. In 1882, we saw the Chinese Exclusion Act that was extended to the Japanese, Koreans, South Asians, and Filipinos by the 1930s. In 1942, we even saw President Roosevelt's executive order to incarcerate 120,000 Japanese Americans. Anti-Asian hostility is not new to this country. When I heard the tragic news about the shooting in Georgia that killed 8 people, including 6 of Asian descent, I was disappointed, I was devastated, and I was outraged. We have seen how bigotry has targeted Asian Americans for many years, particularly in the last year. COVID-19 pandemic exacerbated what was already an extremely high level of discrimination and prejudice toward Asian American brothers and sisters. The community is facing unprecedented hate. But I want you to know that we are grieving with you during these times. We are with you every step of the way. The Asian American community here and across our country is strong and resilient. I tell this to many minority communities. You can go to any major hospital and you'll find Asian American physicians. You can go to courtrooms and find Asian American attorneys. You'll find Asian American engineers. You'll find Asian Americans doing a lot of great things, entrepreneurs in our community. But in order for us to fight the kind of hatred that we're seeing brewing in this country, and by politicians, is that we have to come together and put aside our differences. Because I believe in the next 5, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, we'll see more Asian Americans in public office. We'll see Asian American city councilors. We'll see an Asian American mayor. We'll see an Asian American governor. And we'll see an Asian American president. Now, fellas, there may be a woman, but that's all right. But the point is that we have to leverage the numbers that are here today and tell all of America we will not stand for bigotry. We will not stand for xenophobia. We will not stand for any kind of mythology that seeks to suppress this community. Because this is America. This is a part of our global family. And you know that you have a friend in Congressman Carson. But we need more friends. We need more allies. It's not enough for politicians to come to the community when it's time to get reelected. We need to make sure those same politicians are standing up against many of their colleagues in the chambers of state houses and Congress to say we will not allow laws and criminals to get access to firearms, to perpetrate crimes against this community because we're united as one human family. Thank you. God bless.
You bring to our city and our state. I am grateful for your culture, your skills and your talents that you bring. Anyway, it's just really awesome that you all came out today. And I just want to thank you. We value you. And thank you for being here and being American.
Good morning. How is everyone? Let us all, as one Creator God's family, put our thoughts together. We are one nation under God. We are one God's children, regardless of our nationality, ethnicity, culture, community, faith, or no faith for that matter. And if we are all one God's children, the same divine light is placed in each and every one of us. We're one DNA, one family, and one great American nation. Hate has no place in it. It was never allocated, and it must never be allocated in the way our government, our people, our mayors, our governors treat each and every one of us. Hate has to be eliminated at state, city, county, family level, and national level. And we are all partners to end that hate. We grieve for all lives lost in violence, unprovoked violence, hate crime, whether they are Sikhs, whether they are Muslims, whether they are Asians, whether they are any other nationality, culture, and community. And so we petition to God Almighty to give them peace, give their families peace, and to give each of us reassurance that together, creating the kind of noise, the kind of solidarity that we have created today, that we eliminate this plague, this menace called hate, from this blessed land, which is a land of plenty, it's a land of dignity, it's a land of unbelievable opportunities, and we work together to end that. Now, one of the most important things I'd like to say is, from the Sikh scriptures, I hate no one, and no one is a stranger to me. Everyone is part of God's family, and therefore part of my family. Keeping that thought in mind, let us work together to eliminate all hate and treat mankind as one humanity and be kind to one another in His name and for the sake of the greatness of this nation, which has given us home, away from home, and we have created a fabulous home here for each one of us. When you don't hate me, when you don't worry about my turban, I work twice as hard that I am part of the nation. So no hijab, no turban, no accessory should be any part of our thinking or any part of the way we are treated. So God bless each one of you, God bless this great nation, and let us work together to stop AAPI and Asian American Alliance Day anywhere and everywhere on this blessed day and on our lands everywhere. Amen.
And stand up, and we'll take a group picture. We are one family. Please hold your signs high. All stand up. We'll take one big group picture. We are a family.
Just a minute. I think we want more.
We want more people who are in the back to go all the way up to the stairs so that we can get a very good view of everyone. So those who are in the back go all the way up, and those who can come back.
Maybe.